I need to tell you about something that happened on Interstate 9 in Pennsylvania. You won't find it on the maps anymore, not that exact stretch anyway. There's a reason for that. But before I get to why, you need to understand what happened to Alex and Madison that night. What happened to all of them. It started at 3:33 a.m. Alex noticed it first, the gas station. A Texaco with a rusted sign hanging crooked like a broken neck. And here's the thing that made his stomach drop. He'd seen it before, 20 minutes ago, maybe 30. Time had gone slippery out here in the fog, you understand. Nothing felt right. His girlfriend Madison was asleep against the window, breath hogging the glass. Alex kept his voice low when he spoke to Miller. I think we're going in circles. Now, Old Man Miller had been driving these Pennsylvania back roads for 40 years, hauling college kids to dig sites, nature preserves, all that. In all that time, he'd never looked scared, not once, until tonight. His knuckles were bone white on that steering wheel, and when he answered Alex, his voice cracked like old leather. We're not lost, son. We're caught. The charter bus groaned through the fog, diesel engine rattling worse with every mile. Outside, pine trees pressed close, too close, their branches scraping the windows like fingers testing for a way in. Marcus sat 3 rows back with headphones on, but no music playing. You could see his reflection in that dark window, jaw clenched, leg bouncing. He'd been clean for 8 months, and whatever was happening tonight was testing that sobriety hard. Madison stirred. GPS? Still out. Alex had checked his phone 100 times already. No signal, no GPS, just that spinning wheel, searching for something it would never find. We should have hit Pine Ridge an hour ago. Miller's eyes never left the road. Seen that Texaco sign 4 times now, maybe 5. That's when Professor Sullivan stood up from the middle seats. Now Sullivan was 63 years old, spent his whole career documenting American folklore at Miskatonic University. This field trip had been his idea. Map the old highways before they disappeared, before they got paved over and forgotten. But there was something else driving him. His daughter Emily had disappeared on one of these roads 25 years back. Senior year, spring break. They found her car on Route 9, doors open, engine running, purse on the seat. No body, no trace. Sullivan had been searching ever since.
He moved toward the front with an expression Alex had never seen before. Not quite fear, something older, recognition. Miller, how long have we been on this stretch exactly? An hour and a half, maybe 2, can't tell anymore. Sullivan's voice went soft, distant. You know what the Lenni Lenape called this hollow before they stopped traveling it? Before the settlers paved it in 1962? Nobody answered. Even the engine seemed to quiet. The Mimic's Trail. They said something lived in these hills, something that learned faces, wore them like we wear clothes. He looked at each of them. They had a rule. Never travel it alone. Never after dark, and never, ever stop for anyone you recognize. Marcus pulled off his headphones. Professor, come on, it's 2024. There's no such thing as... The radio exploded. Not just static, this was violent, cutting, like metal scraping bone. And underneath the noise, voices, wrong voices, backwards, layered. Can't leave, the skin you wear, coming home, coming home. Alex lunged for the volume knob. It spun uselessly under his fingers. He slammed the power button. The static grew louder, and now he could hear it clearly, someone crying or laughing. The sounds twisted together until you couldn't tell which was which. Miller hit the brakes. Everyone lurched forward. Madison screamed. The bus shuddered to a stop, and the headlights cut through the fog to reveal a man standing in the middle of the road. Just standing there, perfectly still. He wore a canvas hunting jacket, dark with moisture, head down, arms at his sides. Next to him sat a 70s Chevrolet with its hood up, steam rising from the engine block. Jesus, Miller breathed. The man didn't move, didn't look up, didn't even seem to breathe. Something about his posture was wrong, too rigid, like a mannequin positioned by someone who'd never actually seen a human stand. Madison was already unbuckling. We have to help him. No. Sullivan's hand shot out, gripped her shoulder. Look at his shadow. They looked. The man cast 3 shadows in different directions.
But Miller was already opening the door. Can't leave a man stranded out here, not in good conscience. The figure's head lifted slowly, joints creaking like old hinges. When it looked at them, its face was pale, bloodless, waxy, like something that had been underwater too long. Its eyes were holes, reflecting nothing, absorbing everything. And when it smiled, Alex saw its teeth were all different sizes, different colors, like they'd been collected from different mouths. Name's Jake. The voice sounded like gravel scraped across metal. Each word came out wrong, misshapen. Car died. Need a ride to the next town. Sullivan spoke quietly. There is no next town on this road, not for 60 miles. Jake's smile widened, skin cracked at the corners of his mouth. Then I guess we're all stuck together. He climbed aboard. Now here's where it gets worse. His movements were wrong, joints bending at angles that didn't match human anatomy, like watching a video with frames missing. He was at the bottom step, then the top, no transition, and the smell that came with him hit like a physical wall, damp earth, rotting leaves, and underneath it all, something sweet and spoiled, like meat left in summer heat. Jake walked down the aisle, past Sullivan, past Madison and Alex, sat down in the very back, directly behind Marcus. Marcus went rigid, pupils dilating until his eyes were black, mouth open, but no sound coming out. "Marcus?" Alex called back. "You okay?" No response, not even a blink. Miller restarted the engine with shaking hands. The bus lurched forward, back into the fog. Madison's fingers found Alex's in the dark. Her hand was ice cold. "That gas station," she whispered. "I've been counting. We've passed it 6 times. Alex looked out the window. There it was again, the Texaco station, the broken red sign, close enough now to see details. The price display still showing $1.23 per gallon. The weeds growing through the cracks in the pavement,
were the exact same height, the exact same shape, not similar, identical. Miller, we need to stop. We need to figure this out. Miller's voice was dead, hollow. Can't stop. Something tells me if we stop moving, we stop for good.
In the back, Jake leaned close to Marcus, his jaw unhinged, wider than any human jaw should open. Wider still, and a black tongue, long, serpentine, glistening, flickered out toward Marcus's ear. Madison saw it. Her scream died in her throat. The tongue touched Marcus's ear. Marcus's body jerked once, twice, then went completely still. When his eyes opened again, they were black, empty, wrong. The lights went out. Total darkness. The kind that has weight, that presses against your eyes like thumbs. Someone screamed. Ken, sitting 2 rows behind Alex and Madison. A wet, tearing sound, then gurgling, then silence. When the emergency lights flickered on, weak, red, barely there, Ken was gone. His seat was empty, except for a dark stain spreading across the vinyl. The window next to him wasn't broken. It was missing. Just gone. A perfect rectangle of night air pouring in, carrying that rotting smell. Where the hell is Ken? Madison was on her feet, spinning, searching. He was right there! They searched everywhere. Under seats, in the bathroom, the luggage compartment. Nothing. Not even blood. Just that dark, oily substance that evaporated as they watched, turning to smoke that smelled like burning hair. Jake sat in the back, watching them with Marcus's stolen eyes. When Alex looked close, Jake's lips were wet, red, fresh. He stepped off the path, Jake said in Marcus's voice, then Miller's, then a child's voice Alex didn't recognize. He made his choice. Now he's part of the road. Sullivan pulled out his worn journal, hands shaking. The skinwalker, the mimic. It doesn't just kill, it consumes. Identity, memory, self. It wears you like a coat and adds you to its collection. That's insane, Alex said, but his voice shook. Sullivan pointed at Jake with a trembling finger. Really look at him. Don't glance. Look. Alex forced himself to stare, and the longer he looked, the more wrong Jake became. Proportions shifted, arms lengthening, fingers with too many joints, bending in too many directions. And his face, God, his face kept cycling through expressions, features, like a television changing channels. Miller's weathered skin, Ken's young face, Marcus's dark eyes, a woman's features Alex didn't recognize, a child's nose, all flickering across that blank canvas, trying to settle, never quite landing.
We need to get off this road, Madison whispered. Miller's voice was defeated. There is no off. I've tried every exit. They all loop back. We're in its world now. That's when the lights appeared through the fog. Warm, inviting, real. A diner. Classic 50s chrome and neon sitting in a pool of golden light like an oasis. Joe's Diner in red script. Vintage cars parked outside, Cadillacs, Bel Airs, Thunderbirds, all gleaming. Music drifted out, something slow and jazzy. Marcus spoke suddenly, his voice flat and empty. We need to stop. We need help. We need to call someone. No, Sullivan said. Whatever's in there, it's part of this, part of the trap.
But Alex was already standing, his body moving before his brain caught up. Madison too, like puppets on strings. "We should check it out," Alex heard himself say in a voice that didn't sound quite right. "Just for a minute, just to use the phone." The bus pulled into the parking lot. Sullivan grabbed Alex's arm as they filed off. "Listen to me. When we get inside, whatever you see, whatever looks safe, familiar, comforting, it's a lie. Close your eyes. Really smell. Really listen. The mimic shows you what you want to see." Alex nodded, but his feet kept moving toward that warm glow. The door opened before they reached it. A waitress stood there, blonde hair in perfect victory rolls, red lipstick, vintage uniform with a name tag reading Dolores. She smiled wide, too wide. "Well, aren't you folks a sight for sore eyes? Come in out of that awful fog. Coffee's fresh, apple pie just came out of the oven." The smell hit them. Cinnamon, brown sugar, butter. It smelled like every childhood memory of safety Alex had ever had. Grandmother's kitchen, Christmas morning, home. Inside looked perfect. Red vinyl booths, checkerboard floor gleaming, chrome fixtures, a jukebox in the corner playing Dream a Little Dream of Me. But something was off. The tempo was wrong, too slow. The singer's voice pitched down into registers that made your teeth ache. Other patrons sat in booths, a family of 4, an old couple holding hands, a truck driver at the counter, all of them eating, all of them smiling, none of them blinking. "Sit, sit," Dolores gestured to an empty booth. "You look half-starved. When's the last time you ate?" Alex couldn't remember. Had they eaten dinner? Had there even been dinner? Madison moved toward a table where steam rose from a fresh-baked pie, golden crust glistening. Her hand reached out. Sullivan grabbed her wrist hard enough to bruise. "Stop. Close your eyes. Now." "Professor, I'm just—" "Close them. Trust me." Madison squeezed her eyes shut, breathed deep. Her expression changed, horror blooming across her features like a wound opening. "Oh God," she whispered. "Oh God, Alex, don't look." But Alex was already looking, really looking. The paint wasn't fresh. It was peeling in long strips, revealing black mold underneath. The booths weren't red vinyl. They were torn, stuffing spilling out like intestines. The chrome was rust. The floor was cracked, stained with something dark that had dried in patterns that looked almost like words. And Dolores, her skin was gray and dried like old leather. Her eyes were empty sockets, but something moved inside them. Her smile showed too many teeth, all of them filed to points. Her vintage uniform was rotting, held together by threads and beetles. "What's wrong, honey?" Her voice buzzed like flies. "Don't you like my pie?" She lifted a plate. It wasn't pie. It was Ken's varsity jacket, shredded, soaked in something that was still wet. His class ring sat in the center, smeared with tissue that might have been part of his finger. The other patrons turned to look at them as one, moving in perfect synchronization. Their faces were wrong, melted like wax left too close to heat. Some had no faces at all, just smooth expanses of skin with holes where mouths should be, breathing in wet, sucking gasps. The truck driver at the counter stood, his body bent backward, spine cracking until he was walking on his hands and feet like a spider, head rotating to keep them in view. "Run!" They bolted for the door. It was locked.
Alex slammed his shoulder into it. The glass didn't break, didn't even crack. Behind them, Dolores laughed. The sound multiplied, echoed, came from every direction at once. You can't leave, sweethearts. Nobody leaves. This is where the road ends. This is where everyone ends. The other patrons stood, moved toward them in that same synchronized way, joints bending wrong, skin sloughing off in wet chunks. Sullivan pulled a lighter from his pocket, flicked it. In the tiny flame's light, Alex saw symbols carved into every surface, walls, floor, ceiling, old symbols, wrong symbols, shapes that hurt to look at directly. Binding marks, Sullivan said. This place is a stomach. It digests everyone who stops. Marcus, or the thing wearing Marcus, stepped between them and Dolores. When it spoke, its voice was everyone's voice, every victim, every consumed soul speaking as one. You misunderstand. This isn't punishment. This is mercy. Out there, you die alone. In here, you're never alone. You become part of something eternal, part of us, part of the road. Its face shifted, became Ken, became Miller, became a woman who looked like an older version of Madison, became a teenage girl with Sullivan's eyes. Emily? Sullivan's voice broke.
The thing wearing his daughter's face smiled. Hi, Daddy. I've been waiting. 25 years. It's so good here. So peaceful. Join me. Join us. We can be a family again. Sullivan raised the lighter higher. Tears streamed down his face. You're not my daughter. I'm everyone's daughter, everyone's son, everyone's love, everyone's loss. The thing's voice was hypnotic, sweet. Don't you want to stop running? Don't you want to rest? Alex felt it pulling at him. Part of him wanted to say yes, wanted to sink into that warm darkness, stop fighting, stop being afraid. But Madison's hand found his, squeezed hard. Alex, we're leaving, right now. She grabbed a chair, swung it at the window with everything she had. The glass shattered. The diner screamed. Not Dolores, not the patrons, the building itself. The walls contracted like a throat trying to swallow. The floor buckled. Those carved symbols blazed with sick green light. They dove through the broken window, hitting the parking lot hard. Glass shredded Alex's jacket, his skin. He didn't care. They ran for the bus. Miller wasn't in the driver's seat. He was on the ground beside it, neck twisted at an angle that would have killed him instantly, his eyes open, staring at nothing. But someone was in the driver's seat, wearing Miller's coat, Miller's hat, Miller's body. It turned. No face. Just smooth skin where features should be. Then, like a photograph developing, Miller's face emerged, perfect in every detail. But the eyes were black pits. Get in, kids. It spoke in Miller's voice, perfect inflection, perfect warmth. We've got a long way to go yet. Alex gasped. Keys. Madison, check Miller. Get the keys. Madison dropped beside Miller's body, fighting back vomit as she searched his pockets. Found them. The key ring was an old rabbit's foot, worn smooth. Alex shoved past the thing wearing Miller's skin, slid into the driver's seat. It dissolved into oily smoke with a sound like a sigh, like relief finally acknowledged. Madison dove in, Sullivan right behind her. Drive! Drive! Alex's hands were shaking so hard he could barely get the key in the ignition. The engine turned over, caught, roared. He gunned it, tires screaming. In the rearview mirror, the diner collapsed in on itself, folding, twisting, disappearing into the fog like it had never existed. But Jake sat in the back, smiling. His body was changing, elongating, joints bending backward, and he wore all of them now. Miller's face, Ken's, Marcus's, and dozens of others Alex had never seen, all of them flickering across that thing's skin like a slideshow of the damned. "You can't kill what was never alive," Jake said in a chorus of voices. "Who's next? Madison? The old professor? You, Alex? I'm patient. I have all night. I have forever." Alex pushed the accelerator to the floor. 70, 80, 90. The bus shook, rattling like it would tear apart. The fog pressed closer. And then, ahead, the lights of the Texaco station appeared. The same broken sign, the same angle, the same everything. Madison slammed her fist against the dashboard. "No, we're back. It won't let us leave." Sullivan was flipping through his journal, pages flying. "There has to be a way. There's always a way." He stopped, stared at a page. Oh God, what? They didn't survive it. They avoided it. The only ones who escaped were the ones who fed it, who gave it someone else. His finger traced old handwriting. It takes one per loop, one to add to its collection. Ken is gone. It's satisfied for now, but dawn is 4 hours away. It will be hungry again, until we're all consumed, or what? Sullivan's face was gray. Or we destroy the anchor point, the source. Where? Madison's voice was steady, steadier than she felt. Sullivan turned to a page marked with a faded ribbon, a hand-drawn map. Raven's Hollow, 3 miles north. It's where the original killings happened, 1959, before they paved the road. 6 teenagers went missing on prom night. They found their car, they found their clothes, but the bodies, he stopped. The bodies were inside out, skin on the outside, everything else gone, like something had crawled inside them and warned them from within. The bus drove on through the fog. Alex stopped trying to navigate. The road went where it wanted now. In the back, Jake stood. His body wasn't pretending to be human anymore. Arms hung too long, dragging on the floor. His spine curved wrong, and his face was a kaleidoscope of everyone he'd ever taken, flickering, changing, never settling. "You can't kill what was never alive," Jake said. "You can't escape what you've already been consumed by. Don't you understand? You died the moment you entered the fog. This is just the digestion." Madison threw her water bottle at it. The bottle passed through Jake's body like smoke. Alex's mind raced. 4 hours to dawn, 1 person taken per loop, 3 of them left. The math was simple. Ugly. "There," Sullivan pointed ahead. A sign emerged from the fog, weathered wood, hand-painted letters. Raven's Hollow, 1 mile. The sign was glowing, not reflecting light, glowing from within, pulsing with a sick green luminescence. "That's it," Sullivan said. "The marker. We have to destroy it." "How?" Alex asked. Sullivan was quiet for a long moment. Then he pulled out a small flask from his jacket. "Lighter fluid. I've been carrying it since Emily disappeared, just in case." His voice broke. He unscrewed the cap, poured it over his journal, over his clothes. "Professor Sullivan, what are you—" "Someone has to stay with the sign. Make sure it burns completely. Make sure the anchor point breaks." He met Alex's eyes. "I've been looking for my daughter for 25 years. Maybe it's time I stopped running. There has to be another way." Sullivan's smile was sad, peaceful. I'm an old man. You two have your whole lives ahead of you. Let me do this one thing right. Madison was crying. Professor Sullivan, when you get out, and you will get out, tell people about this road. Warn them. Don't let my Emily's death be for nothing. Alex slowed the bus as they approached the sign. Sullivan stood, flask in one hand, lighter in the other. When I jump, you drive, fast as this old bus will go. Don't look back. Don't stop. Not for anything. Professor Sullivan, Alex's throat was tight. Thank you, Alex, for being a good student, for caring. He turned to Madison. And you, fierce girl, don't let the world make you small. He walked to the door, pulled the lever. It hissed open. Behind them, Jake lunged forward, moving impossibly fast, arms stretching, reaching. Sullivan jumped.
He hit the ground running, lighter already lit. He grabbed the sign, pulled it down, and pressed the flame to his journal. It caught instantly. Fire roared up, engulfing him, the sign, the ground beneath. In the flames, Alex saw shapes, dozens of them, hundreds, all the faces Jake had collected, all the souls trapped in the loop. They swirled in the fire like moths, like prayers, like hope. And Emily Sullivan stood among them, young, whole, smiling. She waved to her father. He waved back as the flames consumed him. "Drive!" Madison screamed. Alex slammed his foot down. The bus surged forward. Behind them, Jake shrieked, a sound that wasn't sound so much as the feeling of every nightmare you've ever had made manifest. The thing's body came apart, unraveling like smoke, like lies, like the fog itself. The fire spread, impossibly fast, consuming the road, the trees, the fog, everything. The bus outran it by seconds. And then, suddenly, the fog lifted. Real road appeared, real paint lines, real reflectors. Ahead, streetlights, a gas station, a real one, modern, lit up, cars at the pumps. Alex kept driving until they reached it, pulled in, stopped. For a long moment, neither of them moved, couldn't move. Then Madison started laughing, or crying, maybe both. "We made it," she whispered. "Oh God, we actually made it." Alex looked in the rear-view mirror. The back of the bus was empty. No Jake, no Marcus, no Ken, no Miller. Just empty seats and the ghost of that rotting smell. His phone buzzed, signal returning, notifications flooding in, the real world bleeding back. They stumbled out of the bus on shaking legs. The gas station attendant, a kid maybe 19 with earbuds in, looked up from his phone. "You two okay? You look like you seen a ghost." Alex started to answer, stopped. In the reflection of the gas station window, he saw it, just for a second, Sullivan standing behind them, smiling, peaceful. Then he was gone. "We're okay," Madison said, voice steady. "We're going to be okay." Alex took her hand, held tight. Behind them, miles back in the hills, something was still burning. And the road, the real road, the one on maps, the one people drove every day, went on. But Interstate 9 was one exit shorter now. Raven's Hollow was gone. 3 months later,
Alex and Madison stood in front of the Pennsylvania Historical Society. They'd written everything down, Sullivan's research, their experience, everything. The curator, an elderly woman with sharp eyes, read through it carefully. "You know," she said finally, "we've had reports about that stretch of road for decades. Missing persons, strange sightings. But nothing recent. Not in the last 3 months." "Nothing?" Madison leaned forward. "Not a single incident." The curator smiled. "Whatever was there, I think it's gone now. Thanks to you. Thanks to Professor Sullivan." They donated Sullivan's journal to the archives, set up a memorial fund in his name and Emily's. Sometimes, late at night, Alex still dreams of that road, the fog, the voices, but he doesn't dream of Jake anymore. He dreams of Sullivan, standing in the fire, smiling as all those trapped souls swirled around him like fireflies, like hope, like freedom. The mimic is dead, the road is clean, and sometimes that's enough.